Okay, is that better? All right, now I can see the bar. Oh, man. I've been muted this whole entire time. Huh. I did say hi to Diablo when they were here. Oh, man. Sorry about that. I didn't realize my mic was on. I see the light saying it's on, but I didn't realize that OBS didn't notice that the mic was connected. So it said device not connected. Ah, that sucks. That sucks. Okay, so all I was saying was that this is running. They warned us that it was going to run slower than before, and I do see it running slower than before. I hate OBS. Okay. So all I did, yeah, I mean, you saw what I did, right? Well, yeah, it just fixing all this stuff up. Thank you, ModProc, for letting me know. I appreciate that. So now we're going to handle status effects. So hopefully we'll go better from here. All right. Right now we check for confusion in the monster AI system and actually forgot about it in bystanders, vendors, and animals. Rather than copy-pasting the code everywhere, we should use this as an opportunity to create a system to handle status effect turn skipping and clean up other systems to benefit. All right, so we're going to create a new turn status. And I was asking, actually, ModPry, I haven't caught a stream from you in a while. I don't know if it's you just stream at different times than I'm awake, or if you haven't been streaming recently. My turn. System. Hello, Techie-chan. Impl, tick A, system, tick A, turn status, system. Oh, you stream in the European morning? Dang. Okay, I'll have to watch for, or take a look for some VODs then. System data. Or the other option would be for me to just move to Europe. That would be a better solution. Entities. Okay. Oh, so you stopped streaming. You stopped streaming at 7 a.m. UTC. Yeah, I think that's like 2 in the morning for me. So that's system data, and we create a run. Destructure the structure. Turns. Oops. You spent all morning trying to get cargo add to work better? Oh, okay. Does that mean you were hacking on the code itself, or you were arguing with the way it was behaving? Ticking. So if we're not in the ticking state, so this is interesting. So before we were checking to see if we were monster state returning. So now we're just saying we're going to run the system. Oh, I said fun run. FN run. There we go. So we're going to run the system every tick, but if we're not in the ticking state, we're not going to do anything. Not my turn. And not confused. Oh, right, I forgot. They changed, I upgraded my NeoVim and they changed Shift Y. Shift Y used to be copy the entire line, and now it just means copy to the end of the line. So I'm used to hitting Shift Y and then P to paste when I'm trying to duplicate a line, and now it just copies to the end of the line and pastes smack in the middle like that. So I have to remember it's YY now to copy. Not confused. I am confused by that change, but maybe that makes things more consistent. I don't know. Turn and confused. join. There's a cargo command in rust.vim, and all I did was wrap that so the LSP reloads when I add something. Well, you can change that. You can do a remap. Yeah, I can change it, but I want to get used to the new style. I don't want to be an old fogey who's stuck in his ways. Confused turns. It's just going to take a while to retrain my muscle memory. It took me a while to get used to typing nvim instead of vim. So, and back in the olden days, I used to just type vi. So this, as the years go by, right? It used to be vi whatever, right? And then I had to remember to type vim whatever, and now I have to remember to type nvim whatever. So it's just the command's getting longer and longer as I get older and older. Modprog says I actually had capital Y mapped to Y $ in Vim. Yeah, so you were trying to make things consistent all by yourself there. Now it's doing it by default, or at least the latest one. I think the latest one is what am I running here? So yeah, 6.1, which I think is the latest. This is interesting. And then for E in not confused, turns remove, confusion remove. So we have this turns thing. Oops, I misspelled that. Tech-chan says alias VI to nvim. Yeah, but then I'll forget, right? I'll forget then when I go to a different system that doesn't have that alias, and I'll be doing all sorts of weird crap. Modprog says I'm already on 07 dev. Yeah, I tend to shy away from non-stable code when I'm working with my editor. I don't want things to break badly, but I'm sure it's fine. It's just my own internal fears. How do you do not equal in Lua? So I guess it's not bang equals. Maybe it's slash equals. Tilde. It's tilde. How do you like that one? Oh, Unlink got there before me. Okay. Every language has to have its own, right? All right, so this is pretty simple. It iterates everyone who's confused and decrements their turn counter right here. If they're still confused, it takes away my turn. If they have recovered, it takes away confusion. Okay, so that all makes sense. You need to add mod and pub_use statement for it in mod rs and add it to your run systems function in main. Okay. So right now I can save it, but it won't check because it's not in the I've already forgotten what it was called. Turn status. Really? Is that what I call it? I did. Wow, I don't even remember typing that. And then, oh, I did it again. YYP. There we go. Use : star. All right, so now it should actually go through and check. Yep. So what do we got? Oh, there's no semicolon there. ENTITIES. And then we're going to have to add it to our run system. Still doesn't like this. Oh, because I'd spelled it wrong here. There we go. And now let's go to game state and add it to our, let's see, initiative. There it is. So we're going to say let mod turn status. And turn status run now. Okay, so this should actually do that. If I spell it correctly. There we go. So this shows the new pattern we are using. Systems do one thing and can remove my turn to prevent future execution. You can also go into Monster AI system and remove everything relating to confusion. Okay, let's start. So we don't want confusion. We don't want confused. That deletes this whole block here. And that's it. Okay. So we should still be able to confuse monsters, although there's no way to test it. And warnings have gone up from 5 to 9. So is there something else? Oh, yeah, I don't need confusion here. That takes us down to 8. Oh, so we got rid of the particle stuff for confusion as well. Interesting. So we have particle builder, particle builder, particle builder, and then oh, so the particle builder was inside that confusion thing. Okay. Oh, and then we have this can act. We don't need that. I forgot about that one. Because that was based off of the confusion thing as well. All right, so let's delete that. Let's delete that. Let's shift these in by 1 and delete that. And I think we're good. Yep, we're down to just the run state errors. Testing this is going to be kind of annoying because we would have to track down a confusion scroll and then show that the monsters are not being affected or not moving each turn. I guess we can do that, right? I added a magic mapping scroll somewhere. Yeah. Magic mapping scroll. So we can always add that to the player, right? Source tutorial spawns. And because in the player at the end of this we add a whole bunch of things, so we can add this, right? Spawn named entity Roguelike unwrap ECS confusion. Oh, what's it called? Is it just confusion or confusion scroll? Roz. Yeah, it's confusion scroll. And then spawn type. It's in backpack, I think. Oh, carried by player. So now we should start, oops, like that. Now we should start with the confusion scroll in our backpack. So let's generate the WASM and see if we can go confuse the deer. Okay, get a new game. We do have the confusion scroll, and we can actually pick up the scroll of magic mapping while we're there. Oh yeah, we have a cheat menu to go to the next level. All right, let's go confuse the deer. I think deer move pretty quickly, right, and move away from you. Oh wow. Wonder where that one went. Oh, it's probably underneath me, right? Yeah. Okay, so if we cast confusion, shift 3 on the deer. I think it moved before I had a chance to cast it on the deer. That's a shame. We should probably go try to find a Okay, let's restart. There's a wolf. Can we cast confusion on the wolf before it moves? Okay, so now it should be confused. It doesn't say confused. And it's moving. So, okay, so this is a good thing to try to debug. Let's figure out in the item use. Here's the item use system, which is very big, right? It takes a lot of stuff. We should be able to find. There's some healer, some damage. Here's confusion. It says it right here. Use something on something. Item on mob, confusing them, and that wasn't happening. It was consuming the item. So I'm going to say RLTK console log attempting to confuse. All right, and then we build that. I'm going to need to get me a faster computer here. Something I can stream and compile at the same time without taking forever. We're up to almost 20 seconds per build now. All right, so we'll jump to here. We'll go look for, there's the rat. So let's cast confusion on the rat. It says attempting to confuse. But it wasn't able to find the mob in the targets. So I wonder if is this debuggable? Targets. I don't know if that has debug defined for it. Oh, I got a format. It does. Okay, so let's try this. 20 seconds later. Just rearranging some windows over here so I can see chat and other things at the same time. There we go. Okay. Refresh. Jump. Let's find a creature to confuse. Let's try the deer. Shift 3. Click on the deer. Yeah, so targets is an empty array. So even though I'm clicking on directly on the deer, it's not generating the target. So this is a bug up here somewhere where we look for the targets. And it should be in this code here. Let's print that out. RLTK console log target at XY. Like that. Okay. So that's just going to show us that we clicked there. It's not going to show us if it found anything there. Okay. I'm trying to see what there we go. So if I say confusion over here, it does say target at 2726, and who knows if that's right. But it's saying when we look there, we're not seeing any mobs at that location. Maybe, I wonder if there was an issue. with it. Yeah, because that's definitely not 2726. We're only 4 over. So I think we have a translation problem between the screen coordinates and the map coordinates. And that was something we had changed a long time ago when we made the map move around the player, right? So right now the player stays right there. And if I go left, it actually shifts the whole screen right, and vice versa. So it said 2726, which is clearly not where the rat should be. So somewhere over here, it's saying, so where's it getting target? Use item target. All right, so that means that when we click use item, we're actually not translating the target coordinates correctly. Okay, so let's track that down, because that's important to get right. Where do we have the... so maybe it's in player, where we say we don't want to try to move player, but we do want to cast a spell. Oh, that's in game state. Right, one of the game states is show targeting, this state here. Right, so if it's a ranged item, then we're going to switch to the targeting state. And in targeting state, oh, we call GUI ranged target. All right, GD. So here's ranged target. And so somewhere in here, so we draw the mouse cursor, and we need to return where the mouse clicked, but we need to change that based on the map position. So maybe this needs to be mouse map pause. And let's take a quick peek in their code just to see. So this is in the GUI. There we are. Yes. So this needs to be mouse map pause. Okay. Like that. These still need to be mouse pause because we're drawing directly on the screen. And that's where the mouse is, but this is a mouse map pause, which is the position on the map. Okay. Sir Skull Legend. Hi, how are you? Welcome to the stream. Okay, so let's build this and then try again to see if we can confuse a creature, because we still haven't tested the code that we're actually working on right now. Oh, and I should get rid of this extra print here. I'll do that in a second. Let me just test this. And refresh, begin new game, jump into our forest. There's a bandit. Okay, let's see if we can confuse the bandit. So shift 3. Oh, he wasn't in range. I was trying not to get too close to him. And oh, bandit is dead. You use confusion scroll on bandit, inflicting 20 HP. That's a powerful scroll. I was not expecting that to happen. Okay, so we have another bug somewhere in our item use system, in which it thinks it's an inflict damage in addition to confusing. Oh, that might be in our data confusion. Yeah, look at that. So that's a mistake. That's probably a copy and paste from the fireball scroll, right? Oops. Well, it's nice to know that scrolls can have multiple effects. Oh, and then let me get rid of that print. Oh, it's also in inventory system. Console log. No. Oh, I must have already gotten rid of it. Okay, good. Oh yeah, I did. Look at that. It's not in there. Okay. So this fixes this bug. So we're going to add... I think it was just the inventory system. Where is it? Oh, GUI. Right? Yeah, so this was that fix, and then RAWs has the fix for the confusion. Okay, so git add that, and git commit fix targeting and confusion scroll damage. Okay, so we still haven't tested confusion. So let's try again. I mean, we confused them after they were dead. I imagine they were pretty confused by being killed by a confusion scroll already, so. Refresh, begin new game, jump here. Okay, so let's confuse the rat. You use confusion scroll and rat confusing them, so now they won't move for like 3 turns. But now I can't attack the rat. Yeah, there's some... Right, we still have this issue where the player attacks a player. Yeah. It wasn't working right, but I think that there's still that issue. But that... Okay, so the confusion scroll's working. That's good. So let's get this all committed, because we did a lot of work. We moved, added initiative, there we go, system, and made confusion a separate system. Okay. I should have done the initiative first and then worked on the confusion. All right, so we're on equipping NPCs. Remember when we added bandits? We gave them some commentary to say for flavor. You may have noticed that they aren't actually speaking. That's because we handled equipping in the bystander AI rather than as a general concept. Let's move the equipping into its own system. Okay. Game log. Game log. I don't remember that being separate like that. But we'll see. Name my turn. You should. Okay, so this is taking in write expect for the game log, write storage for the quips, because we remove quips from entities as we equip them. So each entity will only say one quip. And no, I guess we're pulling in my turn because they'll only equip on their turn. Read expect. Oh, RLTK point. Read storage. View shed, and then we would need the random number generator as well. Write expect. So that's that. Okay. So we're just going to loop over every component, sorry, every entity that has a quip, a name, a viewshed, and it's their turn. Okay, regardless of whether or not we're in ticking, because last time we had to check to see if we were in the ticking. I guess they only get turn if they're in ticking? I don't know. If there's no quip available, and viewshed visible tiles contains player pause, and sorry, if there is a quip available, and then 1 in 6 chance, then right, and then we did there's a function for this in random number generator. So let's go to the bystander, because I think we pulled it in there. Yeah, random slice index is what it's called. Oops. And that cleans up this code a bit. And then it's just game log entries push. Format says quote name and quip available quip index Diablo, thank you so much for your vote of confidence. Available remove quip index. Okay, so that's that, and that's essentially all of this stuff here from the bystander, right? So we can remove it. You do want to add it to run systems, right? And so we actually have to remove. Also go to bystander AI, remove all the quip code. It shortens a lot, and you can cargo run now. Bandits can insult you. Okay. So let's do that. I think it means also that we can remove. What else can we remove? We can remove the quips and things, right? So first, let's get this to check, right? So we have to go into source AI mod and add it here. And then, sorry, mod, and then use. Okay. All right, so that's that. So it should check now. I'm trying to think of, oh, quip dot available, right? Okay, we still have 2 errors. As use size. Did I have to do that down here as well? No, I didn't. Oh, I did a let some. That's it. I had to pull it out this way. Like that. That's better. I'm glad I had that old code to take a look at. Okay, so then now equipping is done. Oh, we have to add it to the game state. Okay, so we say let mod equipper. Equiper, run now. So that's why I think we want to do it if we're in the ticking state. But again, I think it might be okay because the my turn won't be set for people for mobs that don't need it or aren't quipping. So we should be able to pull like quips, right? And quips from here. And we don't need this possibly quip thing anymore. Is there any other? This is just checking quips. We still need the random number generator. Let's do a check. Oh, self ECS. Okay, now we have 10 warnings. All right, now it's actually time to clean up these warnings because they say go ahead, cargo run. So I want to clean up all these warnings before we do a build and a run. Yeah. Okay, so let's clean up all the run states from this AI systems. Oh, and the bystander no longer needs quips. All right. So let's save this over here and then pull it up over here. Bystander AI no longer needs run state. And it no longer needs names. Really? Okay. DD like that, and then names. Yeah, it doesn't need names. Okay. I guess if we're not equipping, we don't need a name. And then game log, right? Doesn't need game log. So that cleans this up. And it doesn't need quips, so let's pull that out too. Okay. And what else does it not need? There's game log, run state, names, player pause. Doesn't need to know the player pause. It doesn't. Wow. So that's the point here. It still needs a random number generator, RNG, because it's moving randomly. Okay, so we'll leave that in. So then the animal AI system doesn't need run state. And hunger system doesn't need run state. And we fixed that one already. All right, let's do another check. Oops, I forgot to save all of that. Now we're down to 2 warnings, which means there's 1 warning and a warning if there's a warning. Monster AI doesn't need run state. Okay. Good. Okay, so we're clean. Let's commit this. What did we do actually? Oh, we added a equip system. Moved quips into their own system. Okay. Let's build this. See if it takes 20 seconds still. It does. All right, so now we should still get quips. There we go. So we see some quips, and then we should be able to go find maybe find a bandit. And see if the bandit will. There's a wolf chasing me. I'm going to try to find trying to find a bandit here. Excuse me. No, that was just blood. I saw red and I thought it was a bandit. This might take a while. Could be no bandits spawned. Pick up the dagger. I guess I can equip the dagger. That might help kill these things faster. No bandits. That's disappointing. I was hoping to find a bandit to equip. How else are we going to test it? Ooh, we're getting hungry. Let's eat a dried sausage. Okay, I guess no bandits for me today. I can refresh and try one more time. Oh, there's a bandit. Okay, let's see if the bandit quips as I get closer. Bandit says, all right, hand it over. Okay, so that's good. Stand and deliver. I think those are the only two quips. Okay, very good. All right, so this is this. I've already committed this, so I think we're good. So now we're going to make AIs appear to think. Currently, we have a separate system for every type of AI and wind up duplicating some code as a result. We also have some pretty unrealistic things going on. Monsters remain completely static until they can see you and forget all about you the moment you round a corner. Villagers move like random drunks even when sober. Wolves hunt down deer, but again only when they are visible. You can achieve a considerable increase in apparent AI intelligence by giving NPCs goals. And having the goal last more than one turn. Diablo asks, so who else is watching? I don't know. But everybody who's here, welcome, and I'm glad you're here. And having a goal lasts more than one turn. You can then switch the type-based decision-making to be goal-based, helping the NPCs achieve whatever it is they want in life. Oh, hi Epic, how are you? Let's take a moment to consider what our NPCs really want. Deer and other herbivores really want to eat grass, be left alone, and run away from things likely to kill them. Monsters want to guard the dungeon, kill players, and otherwise lead a peaceful life. Wolves want to snack on players and herbivores. Gelatinous cubes, we haven't actually encountered any yet, aren't really known for thinking much. Villagers really want to go about their daily lives, occasionally saying things to passing players. Vendors want to stay in their shops and sell you things in future chapter update. Actually, let's take a quick peek at what chapter we're on. We're on Better AI. We still have a ways to go. Do we see anything about vendors? I don't see anything about vendors yet. Oh no, here, item stats and vendors. I missed it. Okay. Yeah, and we're almost halfway through section 4, making a game. So I still haven't thought about what to do, what kind of roguelike to make after we're done with this. But I'm going to obviously have to think about that soon. Doesn't really take into account transient objects. An injured monster might want to get away from a fight. A monster might want to consider picking up a glowing long sword of doom that happens to be right next to them, and so on. It's a good start, though. We can actually boil a lot of this down to a state machine. You've seen these before. Run state makes a whole game a state, and each of the UI boxes returns a current state. In this case, we'll let an NPC have a state which represents what they are trying to do right now, and if they have achieved it yet. We should be able to describe an AI's goals in terms of tags in the JSON raw file, and implement smaller subsystems to make AI behave somewhat believably. Alright, a lot of decisions facing Epic says, will you be developing your own roguelike on or off stream? I intend to do it on stream. But that's... So game dev on stream tends to be very slow and methodical. Whereas this, going through a tutorial, we're actually making progress because the guy who wrote this tutorial already thought of all the bugs and issues and developed the code. So all we're doing is following his trail. But making my own is going to be blazing my own trail, which is going to be a lot slower. I'm hoping it's going to be an interesting stream, but we'll see. A lot of decisions facing AIs revolve around who is that and how do I feel about them. If they are an enemy, I should either attack or flee. If I feel neutral towards them, then I don't really care about their presence. If I like them, I may even want to stick close by. Entering every entity's feelings towards every other entity would be a huge data entry chore. Every time you add an entity, you'd have to go through and add them to every single other entity and remember to edit them everywhere if you remove them or want to change them. That's not a great idea. Like a lot of games, we can resolve this with a simple faction system. NPCs and the player are members of a faction. The faction has feelings towards other factions. We can then do a simple faction lookup to see how an NPC feels about a potential target. We can also include faction information in the UI to help players understand what's going on. All right, so we're going to create a faction table. In RAWs, spawns. I guess we can stick it right here at the top. Let's just do copy paste, because this is not coding. This is just data entry. So here's our faction table. We have player, mindless, townfolk, bandits, cave goblins, carnivores, and herbivores. And the default response is attack, ignore, attack, or flee. And the player doesn't have a default response. We also need to add an entry to each NPC, faction bandit. Okay, to make this work, we need to create a new component to store the faction membership. And we're going to add that to the player. Okay, so what we're going to do then is go to mobs. Mobs. And for every named mob, we're going to add a mindless, townsfolk, bandits, cave goblins, carnivores, or herbivores. This one's already set up as a herbivore, so I guess we'll do that. Let's look for name, I guess. Large spider is mindless. This says carnivore. Maybe we make it a carnivore. And what's next? Gelatinous cube is mindless. Okay. The bandit is a bandit. The dock worker is townsfolk. The fisher is townsfolk. The wannabe pirate. I guess that's a townsfolk. What do we have for the AI? Yeah, just bystander. That's fine. Drunk is townsfolk. A deer is a herbivore. A rat is... what do we have for that? Just melee. I guess mindless. A mangy wolf is going to be a carnivore. Fox is a carnivore, right? Where's the AI? Oh, fox is just melee. Okay. Shady salesman is a faction townsfolk. Patron is a townsfolk. Barkeep is a townsfolk. Orc. That's just melee, so mindless. Goblin is mindless. Kobold is going to be mindless. Divka J. Yo, how are you? You're also learning Rust. Good. Then maybe we can learn Rust together. How far along are you on the Rust, in the Rust book? Townsfolk. Parishioner is going to be townsfolk. Blacksmith is going to be townsfolk. Clothier is going to be townsfolk. Alchemist will be a townsfolk. Mom. Is Mom a townsfolk? Sure. And so is a peasant. Oh, and that's the end of that list. Okay, so we've added factions to each one of the NPCs. We did that part. To make this work, we need to create a new component to store faction membership. As always, it needs registration in main and save load systems. Okay, so components. So let's put it right here at the top. Pub struct faction. And then we're going to add it to main. You know what I'm going to do? We have so many of these things. It would be nice. Let's sort them first. And then faction. Just go here. That way I don't. Oh, right. There we go. Faction. And then save load. System. Faction. There. Okay. And then we're going to add it to the player. With faction, name, player, to string. Okay. Now we need to load the faction table while we load the rest of our raw data. We'll make a new file, faction structs. Okay. Right, because we have to load a brand new table now. User D. Use standard. What am I doing? There's not much to the faction, is there? It's just a name and responses. But that's, you know, I guess that's all we need, right? And then in mod RS, we have to include it, right? So we're going to do faction structs. Right, and then we're going to throw it in to the raws here. So pub faction table. Okay, so let's see, does this check? Hello? It's taking its own sweet time. And I don't think I need to do this because I just did the default thing. Yeah, I derived default. Okay, so we're good with that. Divka J says, I'm just at chapter 4, not very far. Well, that's good. There's actually somebody who's going through it. Boppy Games is doing it as a stream. So it's pretty interesting to watch him go through that. If he's streaming later, maybe we'll pop over to him. All right, so we also want to add some indexing to raws. We need a better way to represent reactions than a string. So let's add an enum to faction structs first. Okay. EQ hash copy and clone. Like that. And it's going to be ignore, attack, or flee. And then we'll add an index for reactions to raw master. Okay, so we go back here. Here it is. And faction index. That's interesting. So it's a string to a hash map. It's a hash map of string to hash map of string reaction. Also added to the raw master constructor as hash map new, but we did the default, so we're good with that. So this should check. And it doesn't. Oh, because I didn't put reaction in here? We're in raws, so we should be able to see maybe there. Yes, okay, that was the problem there. And then we're getting warnings because we're not using any of that yet. Finally, we'll set up the index, open the load function, and add this at the end. Okay, I've opened the load function. And we're going to put this at the end, they say. We will do this at the end. So after I loot, we're going to say for faction in self raws faction table iter. All right, let mut reactions is hash map string to reaction. And for other in faction responses iter. Reactions insert other.0.clone. So we're going through each of the responses in that table that we made, cloning the string here, and then generating a new reaction. Based on the string that's in there. Ignore. And anything that's not ignore or flee becomes attack. Okay. And then self faction index insert faction name clone reactions. Okay, so this generates the whole table data. This should check. And it does. And I got rid of all the warnings because now we're using it. So that loads the raw faction information. We still have to turn it into something readily usable in game. We should also add a faction option to the mob structs. Okay. Like that, and then spawn name mob, add the component. If there isn't one, we'll automatically apply mindless to the mob. Okay, so in spawn named mob, where is that? I've forgotten what file that's in. Is that in raw master, I think? It is, okay. I figured it out too late. Raw master. Spawn named mob is here. And then I guess it doesn't matter where it goes. We can just put it. Sure. Let's put it right here. If let some faction else like that. Okay. Wonder why that got spread out. Okay. Now in RawMaster, we'll add one more function to query the factions table and obtain a reaction about a faction. So a faction reaction is what we're looking for. And it's a public function, so let's put it with the other pubs. Wow, this file's getting too big. Oh, there. So this pub, I get an item drop. So pub fun faction reaction. I like saying that. My faction stir. Their faction stir. And Raw's is a raw master. And that returns a reaction. If faction index contains key, let Raw's, so my faction becomes faction index of my faction. If MF contains key their faction, then we're going to return their faction. Oops, I missed something. Oh, there we go. Else if MF contains key default. I don't think we've added that anywhere, right? Return MF default. Else return reaction ignore. And then otherwise we return reaction ignore. I don't know that we made a default anywhere. Is mindless. Okay, so the name of my faction and the other entity's faction, we can query the faction table and return a reaction. We default to ignore. If there isn't one, which shouldn't happen since we default to mindless. Yeah, so I'm not sure what this is doing then. I'm confused by that. Common AI task, handling adjacent entities. MezYusef32, thank you for the follow. Pretty much every AI needs to know how to handle an adjacent entity. It might be an enemy, someone to ignore, etc., but it needs to be handled. Rather than handling it separately in every AI module, let's build a common system to handle it. All right, so this all checks. So we have a faction system, but it's just not used anywhere. Faction system infrastructure. Because we're not using it, so it's just the infrastructure to make it useful. So I think this is what's going to make it useful. Right. So let's make a new file, adjacent AI system. Okay. So we're going to use specs, prelude. We're going to use crate. Okay, so here's where we're actually pulling in faction information and deciding what to do with it. Pull tick A, system tick A for ADJACNT. Read storage, faction, and position, and read expect from map. Write storage for wants to melee, and then we have our entities, and then another read expect for entity. Okay. And of course, the first thing we do is destructure everything. Player is data. Turn done. Okay, so what are we doing? We're going to loop over every entity that has a turn, a faction, and a position. If the entity is not the player, then we're going to do this logic here. Okay. So we get the reactions. We look around us to see what sort of reactions we can have. This is just calling evaluate. And this is evaluate down here. Okay. And then after we've looked through every single... Oh, wow. Okay, so all 8 locations around our current location, we're going to say if we have an attack reaction, then we try to attack. And then done is true. Turn done, push entity. So that means the entity's turn is done. We no longer need to do... Yeah, then we remove the turn. Okay. From that. Because they can only do 1 action per turn. All right, so this is going to be annoying to figure out, but we're going to do it. For entity, turn my faction, and pause. Dot join. Right? Yep. Okay, so if entity is not equal to the player, which we got here. Okay. It's a vector of tuples, entity and reaction. So we get the index. Of the entity, and then we get the map width and height. And we keep saying as you size, so why don't we just as you size it right here? And let h is height as you size. Now that'll save us a little bit of typing, because this is kind of long. So if pos x is greater than 0, evaluate idx -1, map actions, my faction name, reactions. All right, and then pos x is less than w -1. Oh, this is where we fail, right? Because this is why the as you size. Because now we're comparing a I32 pos x with a u size here. All right. I was trying to save it, but I guess not. So this is idx +1. So those are the 2 of those. Then we have pos x and then pos y is greater than 0. And pos y is less than h -1, and we're going to do minus w as u size and plus w as u size. So those are the 4 directions around us, and then we have to do the diagonals. So pos y is greater than 0 and pos x is greater than 0. -1, and pos y is less than 0, pos greater than 0, sorry, and pos y is less than w minus 1. Then we want to do minus w at u size plus 1. And then the last two is going to be pos y is less than h minus 1, and pos x is greater than 0. And it's idx plus and then minus h minus 1, and pos x is less than w minus 1. It's idx minus, oh no, still plus w, but it's plus 1 over here. Okay. Wow. So then we'll let mut done equals false for reaction in reactions iter. If let reaction attack is reaction dot one, want melee insert entity wants to melee target reaction dot 0 expect error inserting melee. Modprog says FF just had a hiccup, just froze in place. I do have 2,000 dropped frames, but I don't know from when. Because I wasn't paying attention to that. Done is true. And then we'll keep going. Can we just, why do we have to say if let here? Why don't we do this? Because we're not setting a variable. And then if done, turn done, push entity. And once we're done with that, then remove turn marker for those that are done. Turn done, iter, turns remove, done. Diablo says they saw it too. Okay. So yeah, I don't know. It could be my computer because this is, you know, it's suffering under the strain of running Pretzel and OBS and the compiler and having to put up with me. So evaluate new size, map, actions, read storage. Oh, this is interesting. This is the first time we've done this, where we just pulled it in like that, and in my faction stir, and then reactions, which is a mutatable vector of entity reaction tuples. Right? For other entity, in map tile content idx dot iter, we've let some faction I'm going to push other entity and crate raws faction reaction why don't we just pull in this crate raws business? Crate raws lock unwrap. So I have 4 closers. There's 2 closers there. There's 2 closers there. So it all maps. Okay. System works as follows. We query all entities with a faction, a position, and a turn, and make sure that we aren't modifying the player's behavior by checking the entity with the player entity resource. We query the map for all adjacent tiles, recording reactions to neighboring entities. We iterate the resulting reactions. If it's an attack reaction, we cancel their turn and initiate a wants to melee result. To actually use the system, add it to run systems and main AI before the monster AI. Okay. So we're going to have to... Did we already add it to mod? I don't think we did. No. And what was it called? Adjacent AI system. Okay. Just like that, right? So now we'll be able to check. And we got 3 errors. Unclosed limiter. This is true. And what is it not like? Oh, I messed that up. And I can't find that. Oh, system data equals. Oh, that's backwards. Okay, and I can't find that. Still 2 errors. Where's my faction? It comes from here. Oh, I misspelled it. And I can't find... Oh, reactions is private. Okay. No, it says public. It says pub new. Oh, do I have to say pub use here? Yeah. There we go. Okay, so now it's all working, and now we need to add it to our game state. We're going to add it before the monster AI. So let mod adjacent like that, and then adjacent run now. Okay, so does that work? All right, so we should be able to generate the WASM and try refreshing this and run it. And then I'm not sure how we're going to see behavior different. This is interesting. Yeah, so there's still the issue of being able to see all the actions. The rats shouldn't be attacking each other. But this is a good way to figure out that there's actually this bug in here. So one of the houses in the pick that up and read it. One of the houses in the town are full of rats, so that's why we're seeing all those rats attack each other. But the rats shouldn't attack each other, right? We want them to attack the player, but mindless shouldn't attack other mindless. Let's see. Maybe they'll talk about that in here. Oh yeah, if you cargo run the game now, pandemonium erupts. Everyone is in the mindless faction, and as a result is hostile to everyone else. It's actually a great demo of how our engine can perform. Oh yeah, I didn't put everybody in mindless. I went through the whole thing. Despite combat going on from all quarters, it runs pretty well. Restoring peace in the town. It's also not at all what we had in mind for a peaceful starting town. It might work for a zombie apocalypse, but that's best left to Cataclysm Dark Days Ahead, which I have never played. Fortunately, we can restore peace to the town by adding faction townsfolk line to all the town NPCs. Yeah, okay, so we did that at the beginning. Once you put these in, you can cargo run and have peace in our time. Well, almost. If you watch the combat log, rats lay into each other with a vengeance, right? Again, not what we had intended. Open up spawns.json and let's add a faction for rats and have them ignore one another. Okay, so this is different, right? We have a default attack. So this is different to what we actually put in at the beginning, right? We had these responses. Oh, that's where default comes from. Okay. I see it now. So mindless is default attack. Townsfolk is default ignore. Bandits has a default of attack, but against bandits, we ignore. Right? Cave goblins will ignore the cave goblins. You'd think that that could be part of the logic, right? Ignore. Carnivores will ignore the carnivores. And herbivores will ignore the herbivores, and then we're going to put a comma there, and then this is going to be hungry rodents. And it's going to be attack by default, but other hungry rodents will be ignored. Okay. Also, to add the rat to the hungry rodents faction, right? Rodents. And you got to make sure you spell it correctly, otherwise it's not going to work. Okay. Cargo run now, and you'll see that the rats are leaving each other alone. And actually, this would be a good place to wrap things up, because I normally wrap things up right around now. Let's just run this real quick and make sure the rats don't kill each other. Yep, okay, so the rats aren't killing each other. We can actually go find that rat house. This one? Nope. And then see if we can kill rats and they won't start attacking each other, or I wonder what to do to the townsfolk. There they are. I gotta pull some out. Oh yeah, so the rat attacked the townfolk. Rat hit peasants for 0 HP. Rat attacks peasant but can't connect, but it looks like... Oh, yeah, it just... I guess there shouldn't be blood then, right? Because we add bloodstains when there's damage, but there shouldn't have been any damage. Rat attacks dock worker but can't connect. The dock worker ignores the rat. So there should be some AI, right, that adds something if you're not hostile towards something, but something attacks you, then you should probably defend yourself, right? Rat hits dock worker for 2 HP, and the dock worker just sort of walks away and says, "Sure, why not?" Wow, this rat is ravaging the town. That's funny. As the townfolk wander near the rat. Oh, look at that! Dock worker is dead. Okay, so the rats can kill the dock workers and the other townsfolk. And what did we get out of it? We picked up a cudgel. We got a cudgel out of that. Nice. Okay. So this is done. Let's check in with Clippy, because we did a lot of changes. And I imagine there's more than one thing that Clippy would be concerned about. No? Nothing? Oh, okay. Oh, right. Complex types. Okay, so let's fix those 2 complex types things. That's easy enough to fix. Do that. Do that. And adjacent data. Okay. And all we have to do say is system data is adjacent data. Okay. So that's that one. And then this one. Equip data. And equip data. And I should fix that one. Okay. There we go. Let's push this to, oh, I didn't add anything. Get status, we git add source and raws, git commit, adjacent mobs now consider each other. Let's get this up on GitHub. All right, so we got about halfway through that chapter. Actually, we started partway through it already, so this is a very long chapter. Tomorrow we're going to be responding to more distant entities. Meanwhile, let's go over here and see who's doing Rust streams. Nobody. Wow, okay. Then let's see who else is streaming that we can go raid. We went to Jackie Codes yesterday. I guess we can go to Jackie Codes again today. I love her streams. She's very chill and it's a very relaxing thing to have on while you're doing other stuff, or you just watch what she's doing. It's really great. So I highly recommend her if you're not already following her. But we are going to go raid Jackie Codes. Meanwhile, thank you everyone for hanging out with me and being such cool cats in chat. And I will see you tomorrow while we work on responding to more distant entities. All right, take care.